Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mass Media and Society Online. I'm Brother Howard, and here's a quick overview of what we'll be doing in the class this semester. Of course, it's all online. That's why I'm coming to you via YouTube, so I can give you an introduction into the course. So here we go. Let's get right into it. You look right in here, and you'll see the name of the course, and this is the syllabus. My contact information is there, my phone number and email. My policy is that if you send me an email, I will get back to you within a day, except for on the weekends, because the weekends I have a lot of projects and church things, and so if you email me late Friday night, I probably won't get back to you until Monday. Contrary to popular belief, I do not sit at my computer all day long. So if you send me an email at 10 in the morning, I might not get to it until that evening or sometime the next morning. But usually I'll get back to you at least within a day, if not a little bit sooner. We do use a textbook for this class. It is Media Essentials, A Brief Introduction. It is the second edition, so check that out. It is different than the first edition. There's an additional chapter, and it's updated for 2013, so make sure you do pick up that one. There is an ebook version available. Disclaimer, I have never used it or opened it, so I can't tell you how well it works. So if you do want to use that, go ahead and do that, but it doesn't have my recommendation, but also doesn't have my condemnation either. I've never used it before. You can look over the syllabus a little bit more on your own time. A couple of things I would draw your attention to of what we will be doing. The main goal of this course is to help us better understand our interaction with the media. That's why it's called Mass Media and Society, because the media does have an impact on society, and we as a society definitely have an impact on the media. And so it's that give and take back and forth. We'll be looking behind the scenes a little bit on the business side of media and trying to better understand why things are the way they are. So you can look through that, of course. Let's go down here, and I will go over each of these basic things. We have seminars. This is an example of one. Under each week, you'll see that there is a chapter seminar where I give a brief 5 to 10 minute overview of what we'll be doing in the chapter and what we'll be talking about. And then we also have a quiz for each one of those chapters. There are 20 questions. It is an open book quiz. Open up your book, go through it, and then click on the quiz and answer the multiple choice questions. It will only let you open the quiz once, so be prepared. If you get in and decide you don't want to take it and close it, it will not let you back in, and it will give you either a 0 or whatever score you had when you clicked out of it. So please don't do that. Make sure you're ready and prepared for it. We have a series of projects as well. I'm going to show you an example here in just a minute. We do have a couple of exams. They are review exams. In other words, they're open book, and they are a little bit longer. They cover several chapters. We have one at midterm and one at the end. And similar to the quizzes, you can use your book and go through and try to answer those questions. The main goal is for you to refresh your memory and try to not just cram to remember something in a testing center and then forget it, but to review what you've learned and to help you out that way. Okay, let me go over each one of those things. You'll look in here and you'll see there's quite a few things, but I am going to take it one by one. You can see our schedule right here. We do start on Monday, and we started on the 22nd, and I'm actually recording this the day after that. So each week runs from Monday to Monday. Our deadline is always midnights on Monday nights, and so you'll see that for each week we have set up. Week 1 runs through the 22nd through the 29th, and the assignments for week 1 will be due on the 29th, which is Monday night at midnight. And the next week will follow, and May 29th through May 6th. May 6th is the deadline for that week's assignments. So each week has its own assignments. That helps keep you up to date, and so we don't end up trying to cram to get a whole lot of things done at the very end. Okay, let me go right into the lessons menu, and I'll show you how that's set up. I am here into week number 1. You'll see the date, the 22nd through the 29th. Always there's a lesson preparation, which shows you what we have going on this week. For the first week, I want you to read chapter 1, take the quiz for chapter 1, and also you'll be introducing yourself into the discussion board, which I'll show you here in just a minute, and then watch the video introduction for the course, which is this. And then all the assignments, of course, are in the assignments folder. So you click on that and drop down. You'll see there is a bio where I tell you a little bit more about myself. You watch that at your own peril. It just gives you some insight and background into me and my family life and where I come from. So you can check that out. You'll see the Chapter 1 seminar. This is where I give you an overview of what we'll be talking about and covering in Chapter 1. So check that out. You see that one runs about 13 minutes. And then here's the discussion board for the introductions. So this will set a pattern for the rest of the semester. Every week we'll have a discussion board. And the requirement is for you to post one original post about, a few sentences, a paragraph of your own thoughts on whatever the topic is for that particular week, and then to respond to 3 other people. So you see already here, we have lots of folks who have gotten in and they're sharing information about themselves. Here's my introduction where I told about myself. and then you would respond to at least 3 other people. And that's pretty easy for this week because you're telling about yourself and then saying hi or connecting with other folks. When we get into further chapters and other discussion boards, then I'll show you one and we'll talk a little bit more about that and what's expected as far as your responses. And here's the Chapter 1 quiz. You click on that and it gives you a big attention. Make sure you're ready to take the quiz because it will only let you open it once, and click on Start when you're ready and go for it. So that's week number 1. I'm going to close that up and go to week number 2 because there's a few extra things in here. Again, week number 2, you can get a quick overview on the lesson preparation. We'll be jumping to chapter 16 for week number 2. We're doing it out of order, but 16 is about media effects, and I like to get to that first instead of waiting till the end of the semester. Here's the seminar, which I will talk about some of the things in chapter 16. Here's our discussion board, and for this one, we'll be talking about something that's covered in that chapter. It's about television content and whether or not you think it should be regulated. And so after you read through that, read over the instructions on the beginning of the discussion board, and then post your own thoughts. What do you think based on what you've read? I mean, based on your own experience. And after you've posted your original thoughts, then go ahead and read over other people's postings and respond to them. It's a discussion. It's a floating discussion because we're not all going to be there live at the same time. So you can leave a post and come back later and check out and see what other people have said. Now, the good thing about this is that everyone in the class gets an opportunity to share. I would recommend that you get in early in the week, not wait till the very last day, because when you get in early, then other people will respond to you, and it gives us more opportunities to discuss back and forth, as opposed to waiting till the last day, and then we kind of just have to cram really quickly to try and find people to respond to. So if you can, please get there early, but you could spread it out. You could go in and read and post once, and then come back a day later and post again, and kind of do it on your own time. But I recommend getting in there before the last day of the assignment on Monday. Here's the Chapter 16 quiz, which we've already talked about the quizzes. Now we get into the projects. So for each week, for 10 of the weeks, I have a project. And the project is something to give you a hands-on feel for something that's going on in media. And for this week, on week number 2, I'll actually have you do a media literacy project. And in this one, I have you go to 2 websites. One is called Cable in the Classroom, and one is the PBS Media Literacy Quiz. The Cable in the Classroom is actually a curriculum developed for elementary and high school age students to give them an idea about media literacy. But the basic overview, I think, is great for students at any age, no matter how old you are. So click on that, read through the basics of it. It gives a definition and a feel for what media literacy is. Our book also talks about media literacy. And then click on and take the PBS Media Literacy Quiz. It won't be graded. It's easy as far as guessing. You might get them all wrong, and that's okay. I'm not concerned about whether you do really well or poorly on the quiz. But the concept is that you take it, and PBS, the Media Literacy Quiz, has another take on what media literacy is. It gives us some insights into some different data that the other resources don't give you. When you're done, then you go ahead and click on the Start button here, and it'll open up a place for you to type in some responses. So for the first one, I would have you type in your score. What did you score on the PBS Media Literacy Quiz? And then tell me about some of the questions and the responses that maybe interest you or surprised you, something that you thought was interesting. Then, after you reviewed what media literacy is, tell me what your strengths are. Now, one of the things I recommend always is to share your personal opinion, but in addition, also add into that some insight from what you read. So make reference to the readings. So it's not just your opinion, it's informed opinion based on your readings. So your media literacy strengths, what are your weaknesses? And then you go ahead and submit that. And for this particular one, I think I have it set up so you can write and you could actually save it for later and come back. So that's, how the projects work. The blog entry. Now, this one's one of my favorites. So during the week, I want you to just pay attention to things that are going on in the world with media, with, just your day-to-day life, and then post your observations here. For example, I'm going to give you one thing that I'm going to post a little bit later. I've noticed over the last few years as I've attended live sporting events that the media has a great influence on actually how the game is played. For example, I went to a college football game, and there was a timeout, and the timeout didn't last just the length of a normal timeout. You have media timeouts because they got to show commercials because most of these games are televised. And so there's actually an official who wears like a red vest or something like that, and he's got a headset, and he's talking to the people who are in the control room for the television broadcast, whether it's ESPN or whomever. And he or she is there telling the officials on the field when the commercials are over so they can start the game. And sometimes if you're there at the game, it makes for a very long wait as the players are there and you're sitting there waiting for something to start, but we're waiting on the television audience. So things like that you see. It could be a YouTube video, it could be an article you read somewhere. Give us a link to it, whatever it happens to be, but give us your observations in the blog entry. And we'll start those particular projects and blog entries in week number 2. So you can look at those and look ahead. Now, you are more than welcome to work ahead. You'll see I only have 4 weeks here. That's because I like to give you some things you can do ahead of time so you can work ahead, but not too much, because I like the discussions to be more in the week, so we're actually getting discussion back and forth and not putting out a discussion thread 3 weeks in advance and then waiting for people to come and catch up with us. So usually I have 2 or 3 weeks in advance so you can work ahead on some things, but not totally ahead on everything. Okay, well, that kind of does it for those. We have a few other things, extra credit and other things. I'm not going to worry about those too much. So that gives you a brief overview of things we have going on in the class, and I'm hoping that you'll enjoy it. If you have questions, you can get a hold of me through my email. If it's very pressing, give me a call. I'm not always here in my office, but you can certainly leave me a message, and my phone number is listed here. Other than that, I think that does it for a brief overview. I'm looking forward to your discussions. This class is a lot of fun for me, and I hope it is for you too. All right, we'll see you soon.